So I really didn't want to make another League of Legends video until the new season or some drastic changes were made to the gameplay, but Reddit is completely ripping apart the new dynamic queue system. I mean, let's not be too harsh because dynamic queue can be a good system if done correctly. Not only do you get to rank up, but you get to play with more than just one of your friends in the process, which actually makes for a pretty fun experience. Just, be careful whenever you play solo after the fact because you'll probably get destroyed. But I do have to admit that Riot's implementation of dynamic queue has been pretty lackluster. I already have my feelings with how they completely messed up the design of their game, but I didn't realize how badly they messed up their new ranking system. Like I said in my previous video, Riot is still a very inexperienced company, and with this new uproar about dynamic queue, it's not exactly disproving that statement. First of all, I think it's really important to have in-game voice communication with this kind of system. It might not matter as much for the lower ranked people, but for challenger and master tier players, I feel like it would help them out a lot, especially if they go against a 5-man pre-made and they decide to play solo. I haven't really come across this problem because I'm only in the Platinum division and I honestly really don't care. But for the higher ranking people, I feel like it should help them out a little bit, especially whenever your algorithm messes up and they get paired with a 5 or 4-man pre-made and their team is just a bunch of solo and duo queuers. But Riot's biggest counter argument to the idea of in-game voice communication is that it would increase toxic behavior. Last time I checked though, there's a mute button that players can press if people are being too obnoxious. If somebody's too lazy to just press one button to stop getting harassed, then that's their problem. That button's there for a reason, and then after the fact you can just report them. And if they do that, then there should be a system to where it lowers the chances of them getting paired with that person again in the future. They can still get matched against them, but the chances of them being on the same team should be lowered. But that would require a lot of work and would make the developers' lives a living hell trying to figure out the algorithm to do that. And it's not like other companies have that in their MOBAs or anything, so there's no real need to actually put in that kind of hard work. How can you not put in voice communication in dynamic queue? That just doesn't make sense to me. Whatever, I'm not gonna dwell on this topic anymore. I prefer to play solo, so I don't really know how LP is gain or loss whenever you're queued up with 2 or more people. I assume Riot got this part down correctly, but just in case, I probably should talk about it. So the way it's supposed to work is that whenever you play solo or with one other person, it should reward and deduct points normally. But if there are 3 people in your group, you should only earn 90% of what you normally would for a win. And you should lose 10% more for a loss, and those extra points are given to the team that beat you. This should obviously scale accordingly with more people in your group. And this kind of point distribution should only be applied whenever there's a clear imbalance in the matchmaking. A decent example would be that you have one team that has a trio and a duo, and then the other team has 2 duos and 1 solo queuer. An extreme example would be one team is a 5-man pre-made, and then the other team is just a bunch of solo queuers. If they aren't doing this, then you should probably give them even more hell on Reddit because that's just ridiculous. If they are, then at least they got the most important part about the dynamic queue system correct. This is how it ultimately balances things out because you're rewarded more and punished less for bad matchmaking. And if this is how it is, then it should make up for some of the criticism that Riot's getting right now. And it shows that at least the general concept of dynamic queue was done right. And something that they should add would be to show who's grouped up at the post-match screen. It's something small that would be nice just so people don't blame bad matchmaking as a reason for their loss. It's obvious that the biggest problem with dynamic queue right now is the matchmaking. And as somebody that's dealt with algorithms and trying to implement them, I will say that it does take a lot of time to fix. And I feel like mentioning these other 2 things can really help please players until the matchmaking does get better. But even though dynamic queue might not be that popular with a lot of people, at least the new champion select is awesome. It's pretty nice to choose the 2 roles that you want to play, even if it does increase the queue times just a little bit. See, for every bad thing that Riot does, there's something good in return. Now they just need to give us all the runes for free, because that would definitely be awesome. Who knows, maybe I'm wrong about this topic or I just didn't explain everything that well. And whether or not you agree with me, I hope I brought up some key points. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.